Oh, Tootie Booty said hi right off the get-go. Hey everybody, I have Angel Balance here with us today. Hi Angel.
Hey everybody.
Did you get your hair cut?
Pretty recently, yeah, just within the last couple of months. But some of my footage on Instagram is still mixed from before I got the cut, so it's confusing for some people.
That's amazing. Um, well, everybody, Angel is I don't even know how to introduce you best. She is all things warrior. She is actually our top master trainer of the year, repeat for 2023 and 2024. And so she teaches every single one of our formats, has impeccable leadership in our community. She really is just gold star warrior and has become, of course, a dear friend of mine and someone I get to actually see pretty often, even though she lives in Texas and I'm in Oregon. So thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. You're already making me cry, and we've just now pressed record. But it means the world to me that that first of all, that you would introduce me as all things warrior, because that is literally, I feel like it's going to be connected to what comes out of my mouth today in our conversation, but it is central to how I want to be known
Oh,
within the warrior community. So, yeah.
making me tear
Oh,
too. Oh my gosh, tear waterworks already.
ah,
Yes, Angel bleeds mint blue. Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. So maybe you could actually tell everybody how we met. It's a kind of a cute story, you know what I mean? The line.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so when did we first meet? I think it was
Was it
technically.
I want to say like New Orleans or something like that.
It was.
Okay.
Was that 2018?
Oh no. Ish.
It's
Yeah.
ish, yes. So I knew of you prior to, right? In the Beachbody Live formats world, which is where I first got my start as a fitness instructor. And I knew you through the PIO videos, the instructor videos that were going out, and the P90X instructor videos that were going out. So you in those little denim shorts, and well, I don't even know what lesson that was, but that was a P90X lesson. And PIO, there were these black and white, they were mainly white, I believe, with these some kind of black line design going all throughout it. Very artsy look, I would say. And what stood out to me most about you, Ellen, was you just had this own way, your own way of presenting that I resonated with me. I don't know, it grabbed my attention in a different way. And there was a part of me that was greatly inspired by it, wanted to kind of make it tactical enough that I could start to emulate it in my own classes. And then I'm walking in one of those fitness convention things that we both happened to be there. And I had no idea you were there. I had no idea that you were literally in front of me, I believe, several feet. I was walking with one of the other PIO instructors there at the convention, and she's asking me about my classes and how I like teaching, because we don't live in the same place and we're connecting in person for the first time. I'm talking so loudly that the word, when I say PIO, like I love PIO or something to that effect, you turn around and go, I love PIO. Like that was how we met
Didn't I
officially.
say, wait, didn't I say like I am Pio? Didn't I
Yes,
say
you
that? Like
did.
I am Pio.
I am PIO. That's exactly how it happened. And my brain scrambled for a moment because, and then I go, wait a minute, I know who you are. You're Ellen. And I asked you for a picture, and we have that picture still connecting us on our Facebook memories. It pops up every now and then
Oh no,
for
that's
me.
so
Yeah. streets of New Orleans. I think I had beads around my neck.
Probably, yeah. That was a like summit.
It was. Hmm.
Who knew in that moment? I mean,
Who
God
knew?
knew. God knew. He was looking down on that moment like, oh, these girls, their worlds are gonna collide. They don't even know it yet.
Right.
Oh.
Right. And I mean, that was it. Like I don't even remember if I sent you any kind of friend request, but I do know I started following you on Instagram at some point along the way. I'll save that photo. I posted the photo because it's in my memories. It's there from, the day it happened, I believe. And then we reconnected again because of social media, actually, because it was an Instagram story of you. I always say that it was you and your golden goddess
Oh yeah.
photography
The
shoot.
bikini, the outdoor bikini shoot. Ah!
Yes. And that's somewhat that another master trainer in there, or former master trainer, I should say, because at that time we weren't, and had shared it to her stories. And then I go poking in there, like, whoa, what is she doing? I want to know what she's up to now. And that was literally right after we had received the news that Beach by Light had shut their doors. I was on the lookout. I was looking to. I was like, I was I was looking for something new. Obviously, I wanted to be able to still teach everything. Like I wanted a new format to be able to bring my classes, my existing classes. I've spoken to this before about, I had already also had the itch that I was ready to grow as an instructor. I was looking for that next thing. And I started wondering, well, if my world just collapsed and fell apart,
Yeah,
and I'm wondering what to do next,
yeah.
then I need to look to the mentors. I need to look to the leaders. I need to look at the format leads and the experts and the master trainers that I've been following these past years because they're obviously paving a new way for themselves too. Let me go see what they're about. And in my search, I see your photo and I go, yeah, I need to look and see what Ellen's doing. And I saw you post about Warrior Rhythm. Not even really sure. Maybe it was called Warrior. It was called Warrior
But
Rhythm,
it
I
was, but
think.
it was brand new. We were
It really
brand
was.
like we were. I don't. Yeah, it was brand new.
I just saw that you were teaching your own thing. You were creating, and I found that very exciting. And I just thought, like she did things different, and oh, I kind of want to see what she's doing. If I can be a part of it?
Oh,
And so I reached out to you,
yeah.
and that was that. It kind of created this whole next
Yeah.
series of events.
Well, so what we're gonna be talking about today is kind of the power of the pivot. And so actually this like sort of intro story is not that off topic, but Angel's whole teaching world was turned on its head this last year. So we're gonna really get into that, and I believe it'll be really relatable for some of our audience. If not now, someday. It's happened to me, like where all of a sudden it's like your world gets yanked out from under you because your gym closes. So we're gonna get into like how someone on the top of their world, top of their game, in love with their club, packed classes, like had that happen. And so we're gonna talk about that. But I love this little kind of backstory, backdrop context that we kind of went into. First of all, thank you for the compliment about me being different. I've always like wanted to be. So I've always wanted to be like kind of like you said about yourself. Like I've always wanted to be inspired by people better than me, but I've always been like, but I want to be different than them. Like, so if that inspires me, how can I take this concept or what the essence of what inspired me and do it very different and put my own stamp on it? So thank you for that little side compliment. Um,
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna say before I kind of tune out the audience and just focus on you solely, I was gonna say for the sake of the audience, Angel actually has been on the podcast before. It was like it was a great episode. It was recorded in someone's car, Victoria's car. It was recorded in a vehicle, in an SUV.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was
Yep.
right after we had filmed a warrior combat lesson. I believe it was combat. Yeah. And the talent team, we were piled in the back of the car and we did this like fun
Mhm.
episode about what goes into the makings of like professional videography. And it was a cute, kind of fun episode. Again, we were all sitting in a vehicle passing my laptop around. So she's been on before.
Post filming too. So
Yeah.
I mean, we are like we're living in the sweat, but and a little bit of exhaustion because every ounce, every little cell of your body is just like depleted in a filming. So,
Yeah, we were.
but yeah, it was so
Yeah.
fun.
The other thing is, I have known for a long time that I would have Angel on as a guest. I have a whole lot of people and ideas and topics in my head for this show, and I've always known she was going to be on. And one of the topics I actually wanted Angel to talk about, we probably will do it another date, and that relates to this context too, is that she teaches so many formats. She's actually one of the format leads for our kids programs. So she does them all, meaning she teaches rhythm, strength, combat, revolution, kids, and roots. Those are our 6 formats, our 4 pillar programs, and our 2 satellite programs. And I'm bringing that up not to plug our programs, but to say they're wildly different. It's kickboxing, it's cycling, it's yoga, it's weightlifting, it's seniors, it's kids. And I think the idea of someone having the ability to teach multiple formats is such an interesting topic because I don't think everyone should and can. But I think
Mm.
certain people, I'll call them unicorns, can and can do it well. And I think you can grow, like you can morph into that unicorn that can teach multiple formats, but there's a pacing and a timing to it. This is not what we're talking about today, but it's something
Yeah.
I want to bring Angel back on to talk about it because, she does them all well. Like punching and kicking is a lot different than sun salutations, which is a lot different than, a gorilla row, which is a lot different than a seated exercise. So the skills and the sort of how to embody different modalities and do them all well is a unique gift, and she has it. And so we'll bring that content to you, I don't know, 6 months from now or so. But today, we are going to dive in to this topic of making the pivot. So, first, tell us just really quickly, like, I know, from my perspective, obviously being your friend and your mentor and your colleague and peer and all the things, I knew that you had this vibrant community that you had built at Texas Family Fitness
Mm.
in the Dallas area and had packed classes and really a great community and a following. You have a Facebook group, a newsletter, like, oh, the whole like leadership through and through. And then take us to what happened one day. What did you get, a phone call, an email? How did you get the news that the gym was closing? Or, not closing, but turning into, I think, Planet Fitness without a GroupX program or something?
Yeah, they were being bought out or taken over. I'm not really even sure what the what the technical jargon would be, the technical term would be, but yes, it was unexpected is the first thing that I want to make sure to say. And it was actually came in the most awful kind of way. It came from a member
Oh,
first.
that was terrible.
So you can imagine I'm sitting on the couch, I believe, and I believe it's after class, and I got my cat nearby, and I got my bowl of Greek yogurt, and just a normal afternoon after I've already finished all my teaching. And I receive a text message from a member that says, I've heard that this is happening. Have you heard anything about it? And I hadn't. I really hadn't.
Were you in your soul, were you like, oh, this is the truth, or were you like, this can't be right?
I thought this is not right. This is a rumor. This is rumor mill, right? I mean, think about how many times. First of all, think about how many times you've heard some sort of rumor
Yeah.
and then it's never actually come to fruition, correct? But then the other part was, if it was true, surely we would know. surely there would have been a memo. Surely there would have been some sort of email, heads up, something
Mhm.
to us first, being literally being employees of the place. How would a member get wind of something like that before we would? So, yeah, it was a total shock. I didn't believe it. And I didn't really give it a second thought until I received another message on the like within the next 24 to 48 hours from someone else. And then it started to be a question, is there validity to this? And within a number of days, we went from we're not certain if it's going to happen to an email with a letter termination. Again, after the members had been notified by email that they were Planet Fitness now. And
And
it was
Planet
a lot of confusion, a
and
lot
just
of confusion.
like Planet Fitness doesn't have group fitness. That's
No,
in case the
no,
audience didn't know that. Like so, a lot of times clubs get bought out. I've experienced this. Someone else comes and takes it over. It's a pretty common thing that happens in the industry. And usually this current staff just gets like absorbed into the next. They still stay there. They're still same brick and mortar, same members, same class schedule often. It's just a different name on the front door. But this is like
right.
no more. And I know that there's some people that listen to this show that aren't instructors, which I think is adorable and amazing and makes me very happy. Like some of the people in my class actually do listen to this podcast, which is
Right.
so sweet. I love it. And so just to let those small percentage of listeners know, we love you like you're our family. Like a good instructor. I don't think every instructor is like that, but the good ones,
Mhm.
they love their classes like it's
Mhm.
and just like for you, it's your safe place and your therapy and your stress relief and sometimes your lifeline and your respite from all the struggles you're going through in your life. You are like that for us, the instructor too.
Yes.
The good ones, it's and so just so you know, the idea of having that torn out of your life is devastating. It's like a devastating loss. So I've experienced some similar, um, you know, carpet out from under. I've experienced some similar things enough, Angel, that I do have like deep empathy and I had deep understanding of
Yeah.
you and knowing that you can't always just snap your fingers and rebuild. So,
You can't.
um,
I remember you texting me this one day and saying, "How are you feeling today?" And
yeah.
it wasn't even like the as soon as we got the news or right when it happened, like you immediately voiced empathy and just grief with me, I felt like in the wake of the news. But then it was several days later, maybe even a week later, it all that time kind of blurred for a moment. And you were just checking in with me, like, how are you feeling? And the to be transparent and along with everything you're saying, I was in that moment I replied to you that I was a little angry.
Yeah.
It really is a
Yeah.
grieving,
Yeah.
just like any other loss,
Yeah.
because you're talking about people. You're talking about it. It's not just paycheck.
No.
It's not just a place to clock in or say I got a job. You are intimately involved in people's journeys.
Yeah.
And some of them, like for me to walk into a group fitness room before I was ever an instructor, it was a big deal. It was hard. I was riddled with insecurities. I hated the way I felt in my skin. And so to show up, even just to be in the room was a big deal. And it's sacred to me. And it's meaningful to me. The people, especially the people who come in year after year after year, every Tuesday morning, 8:30. And then they start staying for 9:30. And then they start coming over and finding you at another location on Thursdays too,
Yeah.
right? it's like they they're saying, I want to be here with you, not only because I enjoy you as a person, but it's like they've connected to this thing that
Mhm.
you've all built together, because it's not just me, it's us.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
sorry, that's the cat knocking the computer over. Don't
It's
mind, don't mind us
okay.
over here. Okay, so nothing you haven't already seen before. Because when
Right.
I teach virtually, an angel comes on sometimes, and the cat is often trying to knock the computer on the floor.
Yeah, and you're running to the screen like, oh no, 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 I see it
Um,
coming.
But you had an additional challenge too, because you were fully committed to us, Warrior, what we were building, what you were building as a master trainer. So it actually narrows your options because there are plenty of clubs that are like, yeah, we'll hire you teach our stuff.
Right.
And so, okay, so you get this devastating news, and then you started reaching out to clubs. Like, take us to, I ultimately want to get to where you are today. So tell us
Mhm,
like how you
mhm.
got to this like the sweat three infrared set sweat 360, whatever it's called. Like,
Sweat,
and
Sweat 60 infrared.
thank you, thank you. What a
Yeah,
cool, what an amazing place. I've
right.
loved seeing your, so I want to hear about like how you found them and how that's going. And I saw you recently added rhythm. You started with combat there,
Mhm.
but you also have a lot of at the YMCA. So like, how did you, how did you find your footing and was that hard? I think that was not easy.
Yeah. So after the initial panic, right, I had to say, okay, I'm going to reframe this. This is going to become an opportunity. We're going to look for open doors. We're not going to stay stuck. We're not going to dig ourselves a pit, because I mean, in everything, just like in everything in life, we have a choice. When the rug gets pulled out from underneath us, when something gets literally taken, when something falls apart, we have a choice. We might feel like we're in this pit of, fear, despair, anger, whatever. But we have to make the choice at some point. Am I going to stay here? What will it serve me or anyone else if I stay here versus if I find a way out to the next new thing? And so I remember my first thought was actually to the instructors who had trusted me to get certified in and who were teaching with me at Texas Family Fitness. They're they were the very first thing on my heart. So I remember reaching out to them and saying, okay, thankfully, uh, Ellen had given me the advice some months back to consider adding classes at the YMCA,
Yes,
because
I
prior to
did.
that,
I did.
I was
Time out.
only with Texas Family. Yeah.
Time out. Yes, have your
Yes.
instructors have your foot in another door. I know we have a home club. I know we tend to have a home club, and that's great. But
Yeah.
having your foot in another club,
Right.
if and when the rug gets pulled out from you, is a lifeline. I'm so glad I gave you that advice, and I'm so glad you
You
received
did.
it. Took it because
And that alone, anytime you're starting out with a new gym, I mean, that takes time for you to get yourself established. That's a whole new community that
yeah.
you have to find a place. First of all, they have to have a class time slot for you to teach.
Mhm.
And then, if you only have one format to teach, okay. But I had so many.
Same.
And they're not going to have a slot available like right away. And so and the
Oh my
onboarding all
God.
myself was a thing. I
Oh,
think it was a good 90 days
yeah.
just to get
Onboarding
just to
big.
get through that. And so I would, I started there. I was when I first got hired, I'd been subbing, and then the subbing thankfully turned into a permanent class. And then I was asked to add another one and add another one. And so I was grateful. I technically already had it was 3 classes, but 6 technically because it was twice a week.
Yeah.
So I had Revolution, I had Rhythm, and I had been asked to do Roots, which Roots was still beta.
Yeah.
I had
Oh,
asked them permission to do it because it was actually the first format that they asked me to teach. And I was like, I think I could. Let me just ask Ellen if she'd be okay with it, you know? And so that, thankfully, you said yes, and I was able to step into that. And once I was in that place, that position, those classes, then the block right before it got added, and then the block before that. So it became, instead of just a 10:30, it became an 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, Monday and Wednesday. And
again,
so I was
again, a plug.
already, go ahead.
Well, again, we'll talk about this on another episode someday, but another
Yeah,
plug for teaching multiple formats. If one, you're more hireable, you have more options.
correct.
You're,
Absolutely.
but also it's better on your body. Like if those were three back-to-back warrior strength classes, she would die
Oh,
and be injured. Like,
right.
but the fact that it's
It's,
revolution, rhythm, and roots,
mhm,
it's like
mhm.
your body's
It's
okay. You can do
very
three back to
well
back and it's
balanced.
okay on your body. Okay, carry on. That
Mhm.
was a side note.
Yeah, so just thankfully, just to get back on track here, thankfully, I already had that in place. And it was still new-ish. So I was those classes were in their baby stages of growing, of getting the word out that that the classes even existed to the existing members of the YMCA there. And but I was still maintaining all my Texas Family Fitness classes. And so whenever Texas Family dissolved and went away and became Planet Fitness, I would thought, okay, I'm not going to panic.
Mhm.
I have something.
Yeah.
So then the next thing was my instructors. Let me help them
Hmm.
get something if they don't have something.
Yeah.
And so that was the next focus. And then it's funny when you know what you need to focus on, you get it done. So much like so much more. It helps you zero in your efforts, especially in that moment, in the nerves and the panic and the you don't even know where to start, like that kind of feeling when something happens all of a sudden. If you can, it really helped focus my efforts. So then in my helping them, I was also searching for myself because I was, as a master trainer, I have to be teaching the formats that I'm saying that I want to be a master trainer for. And so I had Revolution, I had Rhythm, I had Roots. So I knew I needed a home for combat was the next real big one. And kind of funny that in the at the same time that I'm looking to do this, I'm booked to film lesson 9, and I'm just like, oh, like it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Like like yesterday, you know. And there was this quiet assurance that I knew it would happen, and so the question then was, where's the right place for it to happen?
Yeah.
Because not just any place, and I don't know if part of that does come from the fact that I have had some years in the industry. I'm almost at 10 years, not quite there, and teaching that I kind of and learning from mentors like you and Becky Concert, who like hopped over to freaking pond to reinvent herself, and you know people like that, to be able to know, like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And there is, and all of the years being within Warrior and sitting in conferences where you're saying, we're going to have the guts to stand out, we're going to be authentically us, we're going to, as my tank top says, we're going to give permission to come as you are, right? And we're going to be about that. And so I know it sounds cheesy, some people may not believe me, but anytime you're in this place of turmoil or turmoil, the wrong
Tumult.
word.
Tumult.
Turmoil is, yes,
Tumult. Turmoil and tumult.
yes,
Yes. I'm a wordy. I'm like I'm a
yeah,
I'm a
like
vocab nerd.
return, turn, coming, like you have to get back in tune with who am I? What's my message going to be? What am I about? How do I want to show up? What do I want to be known for? And that's really where I had to be focused. So as I was reaching out to gyms and speaking with group X directors and having these conversations, if they weren't in a place to be able to say yes to Warrior, then they weren't for me and they weren't for my people.
Hmm.
My people had fallen in love with Warrior already. And I would be doing myself and them as a disservice, is the mindset that I had.
Yeah.
And I would be lying if there weren't moments of fear, like, what if I don't find a place? What if this is how I'm the only way that I'm going to be able to, like, what if I'm going to have to let go of being a master trainer for Warrior Combat?
Yeah.
Like, what if? There were those moments. And again, I had to go back to what do I know that I know? And I know the value of these formats. I know the value of our community. I know the value of the training that we provide for our instructors. And fun fact, Ellen, like our instructors have been hired over and over and over again. They've been seen for their worth. And even the one, I won't say her name because I don't want her to be like, I didn't ask her permission to say her name, but even the one that like literally just started teaching like months before the shutdown happened.
Oh yeah. I know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just so immensely proud. And I honor those women the most who have linked arms with me, these instructors who have linked arms with me
Yeah.
and said, we're in this with you.
Yeah.
We want to help spread Warrior in DFW.
Yeah.
We want to be a part of that. So is it uncomfortable having those conversations sometimes? Sure. I mean, I'll be honest, there was a GroupX director or two
Hmm. Hmm.
that you could hear it in their voice, like they didn't even want to entertain, or
Yeah.
that I felt like I was a number.
Hmm.
But you know what? But there's an immediate message to me that I didn't want to work for that
Not the
person,
right fit. Yes, that's right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think you have to know that you can get you can lean in. You need to lean into the uncomfortable. You need to be brave enough to be seen for who you are and what you believe in, and know the worth of what you bring to the table.
Even on a very tiny itty bitty microcosm of that experience, when I was starting at our new Eugene Fancy Schmancy YMCA, which has now been over a year, it still feels like a new place to me, but I definitely, I've not been there that long, but I, um, you know, let's take my revolution, our cycle format, for example. It's different. Like we are doing party on the bike stuff. We have like full combinations with our arms and we clap and lean, right? Like we just groove to the
Yeah.
music and we have all these fun, interesting combinations for some of the songs, not
Mhm.
all, some of them. And then also I do tend to have like a loud, fun singing party energy myself that I like foster and summon before I, step into the room, like I'm stepping onto a stage at a concert kind of a thing. And I know it's not for everybody. And like there's different things for different people, and I'm all for that. All for it. I've talked about that on the show a lot. So as a new person coming in, there's a very high volume club, meaning lots of people take classes. So we almost always have someone new to our class. So I would notice that, like, say we have 18 bikes. So
Mhm.
every once in a while, there'd be like one person. that wasn't following along, like didn't want to do the like, you know,
Hmm.
nosedive push up and the hold, dip, and clap to the chorus. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while,
Right.
like the one
The
or
8 claps overhead for eyes
eight
low
clap, clap,
space. Yeah.
eight double time claps overhead. Yeah. Every once in a while there'd be someone that like obviously like they would rather do more of a traditional old school cycle, which is totally fine. Or also, and I just want to disclaim the fact that I don't play my music too loud, okay? I'm not like one of those instructors that makes people's eardrums bleed and is unsafe. So I'm not saying that, but I do like a very full volume. I like it to
Yes.
be on the
Same.
fuller side. I like it to be on the loud side of safe. Okay. So,
Yeah.
and every once in a while, someone who maybe is very sensitive, and we do have like earplugs in the back that the Y provides in a little, the
Yeah.
individual rep. They you can tell that they don't like the volume. So I make like I can like tone down me, my
Hmm.
energy, my vibe, the volume, the
Hmm.
partiness of it all. I could tone that down
Hmm.
and maybe hope they come back next week because maybe they'll like me more. Or I can just be like, this is me. This is revolution. This is my vibe. This is who I am. And it's okay if it's not for you. Feel free to
Right.
find, like, I don't say this audibly, but in my head, like this isn't the right class for you. So
Yeah.
I commit to being authentic, knowing and trusting and believing that I will bring the right people and we will have a party class. They will find me and they will love
Right.
it and they will love
Hmm.
me if I'm
Yeah.
authentic to who I am. Anyway, it kind of that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of when you were saying you were going to these clubs and you're like, I want to represent warrior. And if
Right.
that's not for you, that's okay. But I'm gonna be authentic because I will find the right people. And in fact, I already have the right
Well,
people.
honestly, you know what? Some like they don't even know what warrior is. Some of them. They
Yeah.
so I could extend some grace
Yeah.
to these directors and be like, I forgive you for not wanting to educate yourself into like what how the awesomeness is of all the formats that I can bring to the table for you and your club. And but the other part I was gonna say, you said something and it reminded me, yes, of course there was a loss. There was a loss of my people. You mentioned packed classes. I say this with the most huge, humble, grateful heart. I did have large classes and I was surprised every single week when I would show up. And there would be sometimes literally wall to wall and no room to kick
Yeah.
on a Saturday at 8:30. But what really, really surprised me, it was the unexpected loyal people.
Yeah.
It was the people who I thought would follow me and didn't, but I was like, okay, that's okay. But the people who were the first to sign up for my new baby classes in
Yeah.
the new locations,
Yeah.
the first to say, I will commit to your 6 week free classes in
Yeah.
support of you, even though it's probably too far of a location for me to commit to
Yeah.
long term. And I
So
look forward to popping in every time I can if you get a class here, you know? So, but that would not have happened if I had not been myself. You gave Marlena and I both the same tank for a birthday one year. And it said, if I'm too much, go find less.
oh
And I have worn that proudly when I have taught so many times.
yeah.
And it's a hashtag I'm sorry, not sorry kind
Yeah.
of situation. It's
Yep.
like I love you and I am here to serve you. However, I know what's good and I'm going to bring you what I know is good
Yeah.
for your good.
Awesome.
And
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
So did you when as you found the studio and stuff that did
yeah,
you find that it was people from TFF that had followed you? Some of them did, some
yeah,
unexpected ones did, some unexpected ones didn't.
yeah,
And then also were you able to find people from that community and like introduce
yes,
so because it just seems like your
yeah.
classes are already thriving there as well. Is it a mix?
So the surprisingly enough, there were a lot fewer. people than I thought would follow me. And like I said, like those unexpected loyal people who did.
Yeah.
And I have seen probably about a dozen
Hmm.
who joined one, and then maybe maybe half a dozen who immediately joined the other. But there's more than that that are like popping in. They're still popping in because they made a knee jerk reaction, a lot like how instructors did. They, if I can speak very plainly,
Of course.
they made a knee jerk reaction. I just need to hurry up and find a place to teach. I just need to hurry up and find a place to take a class.
Right.
Right. And what I'm finding is that they're still trying to find their new footing.
Yeah.
But the big surprise for me was finding Sweat 60 was actually not a place that I sought out. The invitation came because of a former TFF member, a former Texas Family Fitness member. She recommended me. She apparently already had this dual membership
Okay.
from with Sweat 60 and went to the owners. There's two ladies who own the studio and recommended me,
Mhm.
which is the highest
Mhm.
compliment that you can ever receive, ever, no matter what business you're in.
Yeah.
She went to them and said, I think she would be a really great fit. She spoke of my energy. She
Mhm.
spoke of like their team culture and how she felt that I would be an asset to that and a value add to that. And because of that, the owners, from what I understand, from what I remember from my first meetup with one of them, she said I kind of went to Instagram and scoped you out and saw what you were about, and then decided to reach out to you. And then, but that member had reached out to me too and said, I wanted to let you know in case you get a message, I recommended you.
Cool.
And that was seriously, seriously cool. So they were looking, they just so happened, this goes to those open doors, trying to look for like, I'm going to look for the doors that are going to open instead of focusing on the doors that will shut.
Mhm.
And they were looking for something new. They were looking specifically for a kickboxing format.
Mhm.
They saw me teaching warrior combat on my social media, and um, they they reached out because of that. And because of that, the door opened eventually, now, several months later, to plant a new warrior rhythm flows class,
Yeah. Let's.
which I've been teaching rhythm for since its inception, but this is my first flow based flows class.
Yeah.
And so it's again speaks to the versatility and the value of warrior and the formats that we can get creative like this, and
So,
we can be a value add
so
as an instructor.
a warrior rhythm flows class, because there's all kinds of instructors that listen that teach all kinds of different things. Flows is a version of warrior rhythm that omits the weightlifting and the hit training. So it's just the juicy, delicious, yummy yoga flows, the yoga
Get to
dance.
bring in a little bit more of the
Yeah.
even you have even more time for that mindfulness
I was
part,
just gonna say
the
that. Yes. So
ooey gooey stuff.
yeah, it's a little more yoga-y. It's a little less yoga-ish and a little more yoga.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
some of the things like I heard you say that I think are valuable are that you reframed your thinking. Like we decide what we think, and you decided to, rather than curl up into a little ball and
Mhm,
decide to be this victim. I know I'm putting some words in your mouth, but this is kind of like what impressed upon me. You decided there would be opportunity in this and that you would find it. So you reframed your thinking. Another big thing is that you were patient. And I think anyone who finds themselves in this situation, and again, audience, there's a there's a decent chance, if you haven't already been in this situation, you will be.
mhm,
And I think
mhm,
patience is a really important thing. One, so that you can get what you want. You're not rushing into the first thing. And the other reason it's important to be patient is because it actually does take time. It might take you 6 months, and you might have to take take on classes at times or days of the week that are less than ideal for you. We some of us get so spoiled. Myself included,
Oh,
like at times, these seasons, like we get so spoiled when we have a schedule that we love. Like it's on the
yeah.
right days and the right, like I'm a total nooner. Like I love working out at noon. So like currently my classes I'm there, but initially, like finding my way or starting in a new facility, like you get what you get. You get what you get.
Mhm.
You get your foot in the door, and eventually
And
that,
you had to kind of coach me with that, with the warrior strength, because that was one of the classes I was looking to need to plant.
yeah.
And the only time slot that was really available was a 10:30. And
Yep.
all my warrior strength people from the former TFF were like, we need an 8:30 warrior strength again. And I'm like, there is not an 8:30 open right now. I have to take what they.
So then the other thing that you mentioned that I think is a really good advice on this topic is that and I know that a lot of clubs and club owners and club managers and want their instructors to be exclusive.
Mhm.
That's not in the best interest of the instructor. Unless there's an exclusivity agreement and you're paying all their continuity fees and all their certifications and it's not fair to ask an instructor to not have their foot in another door, or two. And so that's important for a lot of different reasons. But you had the YMCA because you put your foot instantly in that door before the rug got pulled out from under you. You wanted to be loyal. I remember you wanted to be exclusive to TFF because they were good to you. You loved them.
Yeah.
You loved
Yeah.
them. You were very happy there. But look,
Yeah.
they closed their doors like that. They didn't ask you if it was okay with
No.
you.
No.
So your heart was to be loyal. And
Yeah.
so those of you listening, like you might feel that way too. It's still wise. It's just wise to have your foot in the door, even if you're just subbing at another location. Okay, then the other thing is you subbed. Like subbing is another great,
Yeah.
like once you get in, just sub and get yourself known at the other locations. And then the other thing that I thought was really valuable that you said is that you were like committed to and authentic to who you are, what you wanted to
Mhm.
teach, how you wanted to teach, and you were, you didn't want to settle for something that wasn't that. So anyway, other than my recap, do you have any other tips for instructors that you wanted to say, or did I miss any?
If they found themselves in the position that I did.
That or even like burnout, like even, yeah, burnout or just like change is forced upon them, or maybe they need change, like any other tips?
Yeah, well, if I would say, and they say this all the time, and I'm not even the best at it right now, I'll just go ahead and that'll be like my first little mini confession is I'm not the best at it. Is start building your email list and own your audience, like own your community of people. You become, it's going to sound cheesy coming out, you become the brand. And I know that sounds like some people, they hear that, they go, what's branding mean? And they just think marketing. But if you think about a brand is always going to be about what do you stand for? What are your core values? What do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
You have to be known for something. It was one of the best advice that I had pieces of advice I had received as a baby instructor when I was first certified was was I was told find something to be known for. It could be right now it could be as simple as you have big hair or you wear high socks or but become find something to be seen and known for.
Mhm.
Oh, like so that even if they don't know your name, they're like, oh yeah, that she's the one who fill in the blank. Because if God forbid, this was to happen to you, would it not be a big deal? And I know that hurts, but like, would it not be a big deal? Would people miss what you bring to the table? What would they miss about you? Decide what they would miss about you would be and do that. But have an email list to reach them. So make those personal connections now. Have text threads with your members, have email lists, have Facebook communities. seek them out. Like when you post your class photos online, tell your class, I'm posting this photo, find it, tag yourself, friend them, connect with them. This has to be relationship, community first kind of
Yeah.
heart led, you know?
Yeah.
And
You,
you can't do that unless you have the practical tools to be able to actually be
yes,
connected to them.
yes. And you do that so well. And I remember I remember when the Barbie movie was like a big deal thing, and
Yes.
I hadn't seen it and I didn't want to see it. Uh, anyway, I my class wanted to do a Barbie class, like a Barbie themed class. It was really bizarre. So they like mentioned it one day. And so it was something
Yes.
that I was going to throw together quickly that I didn't have time to bring up the chain because that was at the time I was still the director at the DAC, and they like to have 6 weeks to put it in their marketing pipeline to be able to have
Mm-hmm.
assets and promote something. So I knew we
Mm-hmm.
were within. I knew I wasn't going to be able to give them 6 weeks, so I decided it would just be something I did on my own. That's another tip, instructors. You're your own leader. Like you are the leader
Yeah.
of the classroom. Like you can decide to do your own special things, you know. So anyway, I was like, we're all going to wear pink. You know, I've got dudes that take my class, so I'm like, you can wear pink, you can wear a cowboy hat, whatever. And I ended up like just texting and emailing everybody about it and
Yeah.
announcing it and having a successful event. But I was thinking like, and it relates to what you said too. It's because I have all their phone numbers and
Right.
I have a Facebook group for them. I have a Facebook group for people that take my classes, and I know you do too,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's
Mm-hmm.
virtual or whether it's an in-person class. I have a newsletter for people that take my classes, whether it's virtual or in person. And I
Mm-hmm.
save every member's text message that comes to my classes long enough for me to know that they're part of our family. You know, I don't like
Yeah.
ask for their cell phone number the day I meet them, but you know, and
Yeah. Right.
and
It happens.
I noticed that like I don't, I don't, I don't like, I don't see other instructors
Yeah.
claiming this level of leadership, and I want to say, do it. Like, why
Yeah.
not you? Why does it have to be an instructor like me or an instructor like Angel? Why can't it
Right.
just be you? Create a
Yeah.
newsletter. Like, don't you have
Yeah.
something to say? A podcast you want to share? A nutrition tip you want to give? Like
Mm-hmm.
a funny
Mm-hmm.
meme? You can be a leader and you can
Yeah.
collect and then in an instance like this where the rug gets pulled out from you and all of a sudden you're going to be teaching at a new facility, then you know how to reach them. Otherwise,
Right.
the gym closes, you don't know how to reach these people that you've
Right.
loved and loved
Yeah.
and loved and loved for years. You don't know. You're just like, boom, just cut out from
Mm-hmm.
each other's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
is an awesome tip. It's something, Angel, that you do so well. I do it so well, but I think a lot of instructors are just like, that's not for me. You know, that's
Yeah.
not something I want to
I
spend
think
time
too
on.
many instructors sleep on social media, on the power of connecting with people through social media. They get intimidated by it instead of using it for what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like your own little coffee shop, if you will, or their your members portal into your world in a certain way. Like if you were to invite them, the way I think of it is if they were to, I want them to feel like they've shown up at my front door, and if
Yeah.
I invited them into my kitchen table, and
Don't get
said,
me.
"Come have some coffee with me."
Yeah. Yeah, don't get me started. I feel so similarly. I'm passionately positive about social media. I know some people are like, I need a break, I need a break, I need a break, but like then what's in your feed? Like
Yeah,
what's in my feed is very inspiring and a bunch of
yeah,
wonderful people. So we
yeah,
you cultivate what is what you're consuming. Like
yeah,
you cultivate it. Like if I set up
yeah.
like right now
You're in
I've got
charge
a
of your own
you're in
algorithm,
charge.
baby.
Like your For You page,
Yeah,
your For You page is a exact, it's
yeah,
you create it. So right now mine's a bunch of whippets. Mine is like
yeah,
whip it, and a bunch of
yeah.
like dog obedience videos. But like you create, and so if it's not edifying or it makes you feel
Mhm,
like it's an unhealthy, um, I don't know. I feel like my
mhm.
social media is really, really healthy because that's what I'm asking it to be in my life. So that was a tangent, but
No, no, it was a good one. It was a relevant one.
yeah.
I would say the only other tip that I would have that we didn't mention that I didn't say is collaborate. Reach across the aisle a little bit. that the to some of the other, so I did that. I reached out to a couple of different instructors who were in former TFFs
Yeah.
who were facing the same choppy waters that I was. And in particular, those who had a brand that they taught that they wanted to be able to continue teaching.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to remember, number one, we're all human and none of us are alone. When something when hard things happen, that it's okay to reach across the aisle. It's okay to collaborate. There's it's okay to be vulnerable with your trusted people too. And so you were one of those. And you can still, we one of the things that you've talked about in our master trainer trainings, and we is they don't need to know.
Yeah.
And there is a truth there. That is so true. Don't show up and like just bleed all your stuff all over. And because you do need to be the positive leader. You do need to have help to cast the vision for your people.
Yeah, you did a great job of that too. I remember like you couldn't tell like I knew that what you were going through was devastating and scary, but you showed up confidently and positively. Like you weren't like, "Oh, TFF closed their doors and oh, poor me." Like
Who wants
they
that energy in
no
their
one
life?
wants
Like
it. No,
nobody wants that.
you had so much grace and professionalism, and I'm just so happy that it worked out for you because it does, like it does, and I'm I think this was really good content for our listeners. So we would love to hear from you guys, and if you've been in a position like this or lost or had to restart in any way, we would love to hear from you. Oh, do you have a confession or was that your confession? You said you
No, I have a confession. I think I've kind of hinted towards it a little bit, but maybe in certain ways. But so I'm surprised it didn't come up, but I think it's because I didn't really talk about it when I was introducing myself. But I used to hate exercise.
Oh.
I used to hate the feeling of being sweaty and the burn, the muscle burn. Like I ran away from it. However, I grew up in dance. And so at the same time, movement, and it's particularly movement to music, is very, therapeutic. And I kind of feel like, God knew I needed it after I walked away from dance, after I graduated from high school and got, into college and pursued my degree and started motherhood. And, dance was like way far in the background. And years and years of in that dance world of being told I didn't have the right, literally, I didn't have the right body. I didn't have the right hamstrings. I didn't have the right feet. Um, my knees didn't look straight. Like all these things, these reasons, I was, that I wasn't the right person. I wasn't the right fit. I didn't measure up to the quote unquote ideal or picture of what I would need to look like in order to be a dancer and pursue that professionally. And I think that I internalized that. And so after having babies, and your body changes as a woman when you have 3 children in less than 5 years. And I had let go of that period of time of my life. I felt disconnected from my body. And I didn't feel safe to show up and move publicly. So I was scared of the GroupX space.
Hmm.
I'd never had a gym membership before getting certified in my first format. I had never had a gym membership. My husband signed me up for my first certification.
Wow. Donald. Go Donald.
Seriously, he it was because he recognized that I was I was afraid to do it myself. I was afraid to press the button first, to do it. It was like I was waiting for permission from somebody, to say that I would be good enough, that I would measure up. And so part of that confession, the deeper part is today, I'm always a little bit afraid when
Mm.
I'm facing something new. And part of that is human, yes. But there's that little girl inside who, at 13 remembers being criticized for the size of her thighs or the too short hamstrings or and Carrie allowed that message to transfer into all of her work. And so I think that's why in all that I was sharing earlier, I got really excited talking about the fact that Warrior gave me permission to be seen, to show up as myself, to
Mhm.
celebrate it even, to
Mhm.
dare to be different,
Mhm.
to dare, to have some guts
Yeah.
and be brave enough to be me.
Mm.
So I wanted to say thank you for
Mm.
bringing Warrior into my life. Thank you for reaching out to me when I wasn't the first one to click on the Master Trainer application and saying, I'm surprised you haven't applied. I kind of wanted you to. Thank you for that because you there it's funny that something that I used to run away from became a catalyst for discovering my confidence in being me. But Warrior has inexplicably and undeniably been a part of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Mm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So tell us where, that was beautiful. Thank you. Tell us where we can find you. You've got Facebook groups, you've got Instagram. Give us your handles, your hookup, and also she's part of our Warrior Live. So if you want to work out with her on virtual, we have a free week trial. So she teaches virtually. So do I. We do it together,
Yeah.
a little group of people. So where can they find you?
So on Instagram, I'm at Angel Balance, just two
Well,
L's in my last
like
name,
two
not
L's.
just one. Like two legs to balance on is what I tell people. You need both L's.
You make
So
me spell, dude, you make me spell the real word balance wrong.
I mean,
You do.
and it's so funny because like people be like, call it, and they're like, balance, is that balance? I'm like, we're not that fancy. It's balance. I promise. It's not. Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, but it's not French. It's just balance. So at Angel Balance on Instagram and just Angel Balance on Facebook. I do have a public fitness, Angel Balance Fitness. It's very, simple if you don't want to send me a friend request or I happen to be maxed out on friends because every now and then that does happen because I've been friending and communicating, connecting to my community over the years for nearly 10 years now. And so, that sometimes happens, but you can always click follow. And yes, I teach at right now the McKinney Family YMCA, Sweat 60 Infrared, which is in Prosper and Warrior Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining, and I'm gonna see you in like 12 days.
I know. I know. I'm so excited.
Oh
I'm
my
already
goodness.
telling all of the people, all of my members, I'm like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But like when I go out of town and you have all these subs to cover my classes and you come scope me out on Instagram, it's going to be everything Warrior.
Yes.
And I might be a little like fangirly the whole time.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Yeah, we're heading into our first inaugural Warrior Conference.
Yeah.
We have a special event. I mean, every single second of
Mm,
the whole conference is going to be special, but
mm.
opening night we have opening ceremonies, we have a keynote, we have a dance party and a DJ and a catered dinner
Big
and all these
deal.
things. But we also have this Sweat with the Stars, and Angel is one of the stars. So she's going to be here in town with me soon and a little bit in
So exciting.
yeah.
And can I say this? I know we have to go, but I just want to say this. I am so super proud. And I feel like I need to say this. I am so super proud of the leaders that you have grown,
Me too.
that we have going into this con.
Me too.
You know,
Too.
I am so excited to see. I think I funnily made the comment, like, I'm tired of hearing about myself to you, whatever we were at the debt.
Oh
But what
yeah.
I meant was,
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean. You want to
I'm excited to
I know.
see the new leaders.
I know.
It's
I know what you
growth.
mean.
It's a
She's
sign
like
of growth.
what she's talking about, everybody, because she keeps winning Master Trainer of the Year award, and she's like, I'm ready for someone else to win this. So that's what she's talking
Yeah.
about. Um,
Yeah.
yep, I know.
Yeah.
Understand. I understand. But I'm so excited too. I was just, and then we got to let people go on with their lives because we could talk
Yeah.
about her. But I was printing these name badges. It was not
Yeah.
easy to do, by the way. And I was storying about it because it was like unbelievable rocket science to figure out the dimensions of the label to fit in the lanyard to print with the perforated scored paper. And it was so hard. But anyway, I was storying about that because I did it and I was proud of myself. I was kind of thumbing through all the labels, and so many of the girls that are coming were like, oh my gosh, just seeing everyone's names on those labels in your
Were
story.
you boo-hooing?
He's so excited to come. They're like, I can't wait to be together with all these people again. So it's happening. And yeah, actually, for those of all you listeners too, like get on my story in about 12 days and see
Man,
magic.
follow her stories now because I was
Oh
just
my
telling
God.
Bess how, like, I feel like it's my job, if you will, to binge your stories daily to make sure that I am like keeping up with all the things because dude, like everything from how you're teaching, how is she still moving in a suncell or in the oscillating chair the same way she was 2 years ago, to like
Yes,
all the
get it
little
all.
sneak, you get almost like sneak peeks of what's going to be at con if you're paying
Yeah,
attention.
if you're paying attention, you're seeing like the raw footage with my animals and my mess and all of it. You're seeing it all right now. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's a
Yeah.
different look at Warrior on my personal account stories. Um,
I
all
was showing
right.
it all to Donald last night. I was like, look.
Yeah. Mary,
Yeah.
Mary and I tested out the hike last night. We're going to test a different route today. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's let our community, our confessions of a Group X community go, but follow Angel, look for her Facebook groups, and she's just here serving the world and in fitness and certainly making my Instagram a better place. So thanks for your tips on how to pivot when the rug gets yanked out from under you. You did it so graciously and so professionally and so beautifully. So thank you for sharing with our community. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Yeah.